Yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Knowledge and Relationships Live Talk. Let me go ahead and hit the air horn. This is your boy M3, and tonight we have a very special guest. Actually, every night, when we do our live talks, we always have special guests. Wherever they have like the talent or the skill, we like to bring them up to showcase because that's what we do. So let me go ahead and bring in Mr. Piere, right? Ingram. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right.
Yep, that's right. Piere Ingram. Yep.
Okay, cool. I was afraid I was going to butcher your name, but I'm glad I didn't do that.
That's okay. It's all good. That's how
Yeah,
you got to say names right.
right. And then we got Mr. Best in the World 84. Salutes to Mr. Best as always.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations
Yes,
on
sir.
your
What's good,
wins.
y'all? What's going on?
Nothing
Y'all
much,
already
man.
know.
Yeah. Hey, so tonight, man, again, right? Let me go ahead and put the banner up there. All right, so basically, Pierre, right? Well, first and foremost, thank you for coming up to like knowledge relationships, allowing us to like pretty much have this live talk. I don't want to treat it as an interview. It's just more of like, hey man, let's just chop it up, man, and just get to know you.
Right.
And if you want to get to know us, feel free to ask us questions as well along the way.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, okay, so we got like the people who are watching us, and I'm for sure they want to know, like, okay, who is Pierre Ingram? If you
Mhm.
don't mind, like, just tell us about yourself.
Nothing. Um, I'm a poet and speaker, so I speak on addiction and recovery. First of all, I come from my where I come from is Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at now. I've been here for like almost 40 years now, and I'm a poet and speaker, so I like to speak and put out poetry that touch people's hearts and their minds to wake them up. I make poetry to touch your soul for you can stay
Mm,
next level of your life, especially if you're dealing with addiction and you in your recovery stage.
okay.
So I use poetry as a form of therapy because it helped with me when I was going through a lot of trauma, and it's still helping me through my healing process. And we all know about what it feels like to be healing, don't you guys? I know y'all probably.
Exactly.
Everybody's been scarred.
Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like what you said, like everyone has been scarred. There's not a single person that I met that came from like just like a total 100% perfect life. Even if you was born in a perfect household, or I guess a so-called perfect household,
Right.
a lot of times people still experience something throughout the world,
Um,
man, because the world could be definitely cruel. You know what I mean? And so there's outlets that people turn to, safe havens. I mean, common outlets could be church, your hobbies, or whatever that you're truly passionate about. Achievements, accolades.
yep.
A lot of these people don't realize, and even food too, though, could
Yeah.
be like a way out for some people mentally.
Judging yourself is a way out, and judging
Mm-hmm.
people, that's another form of addiction. Like we don't speak on that though. We don't speak about judging yourself, self condemnation, just downing yourself all the time. That becomes an addiction.
Exactly. And so, like, with those like addictions that develop over time, right? Where to the point where it's now like affecting your life. I'm glad that, you found a positive outlet that can help bring some self healing.
Yeah,
This is the
absolutely.
thing, right? People will say about like, well, go to this person, go to therapy, go to God. Not knocking those elements, right? But however, what if they don't work? You know what I mean?
For
What if
them.
some type of religion don't work? What if now you go to that so-called safe haven, but now you get traumatized?
Mm. You go to that
So,
haven and you get traumatized. You got to do some inner work because
mm,
your safe haven starts from the inside, and nothing on the outside that can help if you've been scarred. You got to heal from the inside out.
Mm.
4-step process. First, you got to reveal it. Then you got to feel it. Because if you cut yourself, it just doesn't heal first. You got to feel it first before it heals.
Right.
And we skip the process. First of all, we don't want to reveal it because we want to keep hiding it. Then we don't want to feel it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before it gets to the healing process. And then we don't realize that we can build with our scars. So it's reveal it,
Reveal it.
feel it, heal it, and build with it. Because we're going to build with our scars, something good that's going to help other people, help them heal themselves. Because it's going to be themselves, because only they can make a decision if they want to go through that process of healing. Because nobody can heal you but you, because they got to agree. And when I was in addiction, speaking for me, I was in denial. What you mean I'm an addict? No, I'm not. Right? Because I was numbing everything. Because I can feel something I can't feel. You got to heal it. You got to feel it to heal it. But first you got to reveal it. What is that I'm going through? That I just got tired of bleeding over everybody.
Wow.
You got to get tired of bleeding on everybody. You got to get tired of putting a Band-Aid on stuff. Right? And
Facts.
Then you just want to put on another Band-Aid. And then you're walking around wounded, bleeding on everybody.
Man.
Ourselves to reveal it before we can feel it, then we can heal it, and then we can build with it. Build what, Piere? Build those things that's going to help other people recognize what they're going through and realize that they're walking around with a book bag on with a whole bunch of bricks trying to climb up the mountain called life. Right? What are those bricks? Those bricks of self-loathing, those bricks of self-doubt, that brick of fear. And they're climbing up the mountain called life, and they're heavy. They're heavy. And they're climbing up that mountain with all these burdens that don't supposed to be in their book bag. And guess what's under those bricks in their bag? Their potential, their passion, their purpose, the healing process. And a lot of times we don't allow ourselves to give those bricks to God for he could build a house of protection when we get on top of that mountain. Say protection. We're going to say protection with me, y'all.
Protection.
Protection. Because he's going to build with those bricks called the house of protection around your mind and allow you to reveal those things that was hiding under those bricks. And it's your gift.
Let
me say that again. Let me double back.
Yeah, definitely.
Loud enough in the background. It's your gift that's hiding under those bricks. It's your hiding under those bricks. And God uses those for your healing process. Say healing process.
Healing process.
Put in the comments.
Hold on, man. I gotta play this. Hold on. Healing process. Let's go.
Healing process. If you're watching this video, put that in the comments below. Healing process.
You heard what the man says, everybody. Come on, man. Where the energy at? Healing process. Let's go.
Process. It's an eagle. An eagle disappears for 5 months in the mountains due to this painful process. It bashes its beak out on a rock. It's super bloody. It bashes its beak out and it rips its talons out, its claws, and it rips the feathers off of its chest because it can't come after its prey and catch prey, so it has to eat. But the prey hear the eagle coming. If it doesn't isolate itself for 5 months, it goes through this horrible, painful process because healing is painful. The healing is painful.
Healing is painful.
So it goes up into the mountain for 5 months, goes through this horrible, excruciating, painful process of ripping all these things out for it could grow back because its beak was dull. Its claws was dull and it can't go and catch prey like it should. What is that prey for you? That prey could be your future. That prey could be your potential. The prey for you could be that job you want. And you have to go and isolate yourself for a while before you can heal. For you can go back and come back because its beaks grow back. Its claws grows back. And it actually rips the feathers off that's matted on its chest for the prey won't hear it coming. And it actually goes through this process when it turns 30 years old and it gives the bird 30 more years to its life.
Wow.
Say that again. I messed up, but when it happens when it's 40 years old, and it actually gives the eagle 30 more years to its life. Right? A lot of time when we're in addiction and we're going through these things, we don't want to isolate ourselves so we could go through this process of healing. First, you have to reveal that your beak is dull. What is that? That you might be having to work on your gift, right? And then you have to feel what you've been hiding for so long. You got to feel all those past trauma. For me, it was when I was being abused when I was a child.
Oh, man.
Feel that, for I could heal that, for I could build with that. The books, Addiction from Attraction, The Road to Recovery. This was built from the healing process.
All right, everybody see the book?
From Addiction to Attraction, The Road to Recovery.
Wow.
Look, you got to go through the process before you can build. Once you reveal what you need to feel, and for he can heal what you need to heal from the inside out. But you got to go and isolate yourself sometimes.
My brother, I got to ask you this question. The book that you showed, right? Did you write the book?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in one more time, right? Okay, From Addiction to Attraction, made by Piere Ingram. Where can we find that book, brother? Is it from Amazon?
On Amazon.
Okay, let me check it out real quick, all right? Because we want to make sure that, look, if you guys really want to take this seriously, please help support the brother, okay? Support his book, but not just like, not just support it. Don't just buy it and not read it. Buy it, read it, so you get the healing.
Yep.
So you can absorb.
Some people say self-help, but a lot of people doing shelf-help. Well, it's not going to help you if it's on the shelf.
Right.
That's a fact. Man, I gotta say this, man. When I was introduced to Brother Piere by me just, I'm always on IG and I'm just looking for things that inspire me. I'm looking for things that speak to me, and I'm looking for things that are different and that gives love, knowledge, and encouragement, right? And I found the brother, and I just started listening to his words, and it spoke to me. It really spoke to me clear, and it spoke to me like just directly, and it was so real. And his words reminds me of my late great sister QueBee, man. Like just his impacts, his words remind me of her, man. Salute to her and her family. You know what I mean? But God will use people that speak life into you. And this brother definitely speaks life into me. He speaks life into himself and into others. And God is definitely using this brother, man, to wake people up. And you know what I mean? And it comes from a real place, because bro was really in the trenches. Like he really was in the trenches. And for him to get out of that and make something happen in his life is definitely a miracle. It's definitely a blessing. So salute to you, Brother Piere, like for the, with the utmost respect and love, bro. Because I know that you've been through it, man. So, and definitely, man, definitely share your journey, share your testimony, and just let people know how'd you turn that corner and make it out the trenches and just go from where you was at to where you at now, man. And I know the battle was still real, but just let people know like your journey.
So It was all God, man. I remember in 1983, that was the day that I was born. But yet did I know that I was going to have to face all these things on the other side. And that was a dark closet banging for my mom and dad. Boom, 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 boom. I remember like it was yesterday. Pow, pow, pow. Screaming for my mom and dad, but no one ever came. They would drop me off at my grandfather's house and I was being abused, molested, right? From people that I thought was protecting me. But my grandfather would beat me, right? And I would be in that closet, locked in there for 3 hours, being molested. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people in that they're afraid to show these type of things, but you gotta be real, because that's the how you feel. You gotta be real before you can heal, right? So I remember that. Fast forward to 23. That's when my life hit rock bottom because I was an alcoholic and a drug addict. But that's when my life hit rock bottom. But not just that, it had a basement, and that basement had floors, and those floors had doors to my memories. No, doors to your memories. Do you remember when you were a child and all the things that we've never brung up, that we forgot about, but they has always been there. But sometimes God allow you to reveal that stuff because you got to go through it. You got to go through it. You got to go back to that person, and you got to put your hand on that little boy's chest and say that it's okay. That it's not your fault. Things happen, but God was producing the best version of you in that dark place, in that closet, when no one came, where you were banging on that door, where you was waiting for your mom and dad to come, but they never came. When your mind was screaming and your heart was hanging out of your chest. Remember, this is a little kid, 6 years old, so you could just come with me back to that moment when this kid was shaking. His arms, his legs were shaking in that moment, banging on the door when no one came, being molested, and his grandfather would come, open up the door with his right hand, open up the door and say, "Why are you screaming for your mom and dad? They ain't coming, they're gone." Knowing that they was going to be back in a couple of days. So just do you remember? Do you remember? Can you feel that? Right? And that's the healing process, to go back and say, you know what, it wasn't your fault. It's gonna be okay. Because in all dark moments, there is a light that's inside of you that the dark moments cannot put out. Say put out.
Put out.
Put out.
There's a dark moment that you're going to go through in life that the light can't put out. And it's inside of you. And it allows you to look more inside of you. When those that trauma come up and that trauma want to use you, you can go back to that moment. You could go back to that moment and say, wow, God was using this trauma to shine my light later in life. And how do we know? How do we know? How do we go through this process? We got to be aware of what God's trying to reveal in us. Number one, I hope y'all writing this down. Number one, you got to be aware. Say awareness.
Awareness.
You got to be aware of what God's trying to reveal in you. Number two, you got to hold yourself accountable to forgiving yourself. It wasn't your fault. Let me say that again. Some things are caught, some things are taught. Today, I'm just hoping you catching this. I hope y'all write that down too. Some things are caught and some things are taught. You got to hold yourself accountable of forgiving yourself. Number three, come walk with me. You got to walk with God. And that's what he's going to say to you. Can you hear God saying that to you? Come walk with me. That's the thing that Adam and Eve stopped doing. They stopped walking with God. You've been through a dark moment. You've been through a hard time in your life when you felt like it was over with, that you wasn't going to come out of this, and you stopped walking with God. You stopped holding yourself accountable to forgiving yourself. You wanted to numb your awareness with alcohol and drugs. You wanted to numb your awareness with TV. You wanted to numb your awareness with social media. But when you numb your awareness, the heavier the weight, the longer you wait. It's like grabbing a 20-pound weight and you in the gym, you lift it up and you stop halfway and you hold that 20-pound weight and you want to bring it up. You holding it for 5 minutes and then you want to bring it up and finish it. Now that 20-pound weight is 50 pounds. The longer you wait, the heavier the weight. Don't wait. The time is now to heal. The time is now to be revealed. The time is now to feel. The time is now to build with your scars, internal scars in the stars. For you can feel like what was shining in you in that dark closet. What was shining on you on the path to greatness. Say greatness.
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 In you. And we got to build with the scars. Some people want to keep looking at it. Okay, cool. Look at it. Let's build. Let's build with it. What's that? From addiction to attraction, the road to recovery. But first, you got to uncover the things that you've been hiding for so long. First, you got to take those bricks and allow God to build that brick of protection when you get on top of that mountain called life. Because life is going to be hard. Yes, you're going to be scarred. Say scarred.
Scarred.
And it's just
Scarred.
like Lion King. You know what happens when you let scars take over your mind. Yes. You know what the pride lands. How y'all, anyone in here ever seen the Lion King?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what the pride lands looked like before Scar got them? Our minds turn into a wasteland when we allow ourselves to keep looking at our scars. At the evil lion, the evil king. Scar turned their pride lands into a wasteland. And that's the same thing that happens to your mind when you're focusing on the scars instead of what God did through your scars. Scars will turn your mind into a wasteland. Unless we turn those scars into stars.
Yo, we gotta give a round of applause to this brother, man, because
Incredible, man. Incredible.
Because you are preaching at a I won't even call it like a high level. You are preaching at a level that is beyond different, that is beyond what is expected. You was preaching at a difference where people who are tuning in right now, if you are missing this, you need to catch the replay. Okay? Forget about replay value or whatever. No. This is the reason why knowledge relationships exist. This is the reason why we are trying to focus on dropping gems. Because we're focused on trying to bring healing, awareness, health to our men and our women. The man is taught about scars, healing from your scars. How often do you hear something like this on YouTube, especially, I hate to say this, especially on Black YouTube? Six Boss, how you doing? Salutes to you, sis. I see you. Hey.
Salute, Six Boss.
Shout outs to you.
Salute.
We will be dropping a link soon. To answer your question, Marcus, we will be dropping this link soon because you know why? I know that brother Piere Ingram has so much wisdom, has so much to give. We don't want to just shut this off from you guys. If you guys have something that you want to ask, something that you want to bring up, maybe some hurt that you have and you want to bring healing, now's the time. You know what I mean? This is the time to really self-reflect of everything that you felt like. If you felt like you was a mistake in life, well, let me tell you this. This is the only time I'll say you're dead wrong. Life, the universe, God, whoever, everything has a plan for you. There's a destiny for you. You have to understand where your destiny is. I have friends who are just straight up honest and just say, you know what? I'm numb. I'm hurting. I don't believe. What is my purpose? And then the next thing you know, and some of them probably don't even realize it. You're alive for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe they turn to me for help or just to be a listening ear. But guess what? It's reciprocated as well too. The next day around, now I need somebody else to listen to my outcry, to listen to my pain, to help me steer my focus back on what I need to do as a person. Because we all have scars. And we need to bring healing. Brother Piere, I have another important question, right? Because right now, brother, like you are preaching at a good level, and I respect you for that wholeheartedly. I have to ask you this though, okay? And actually, and honestly, this would probably be like the obvious, like, you know, answer to this. But what inspired you to become a social media influencer, and how did you initially build your online presence?
Nothing inspired me. I ain't want to do it.
Oh, okay.
I want to do it. I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. And then I realized it ain't about me. It's like I'm walking up the street, guy, he's like, bro, it's not about you. I'm like, for real, it's not about me. It's like, nope. it's like, man, you're gonna share a message through the mess, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? And what inspires me now is other people, man, and allowing them to see the things that was hard to see in me that they could now see in themselves. It was what inspired me was my mom and dad dying 6 months apart. What inspired me was seeing other people around me in their addiction, and I have no way to help them. All I can do is get me better. And sometimes you got to leave people behind for you won't have to leave them behind. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all caught that one. Sometimes you got to leave people behind for you won't have to leave them behind forever. Which means sometimes you gotta grow for they can see the example, and you got to come back and get them, because everybody heals and God reveals things in certain people at a certain time. And today might be not your time. Anyone listening to this, it might not be your time. And the Bible says there's a time for everything. There's a time for pain. There's a time to be happy. There's a time for peace, and there's a time for war. Which means just because there's a war going on outside of you, give it some time. There's going to be war, peace. When there's war on the outside of you, there could be peace going on the inside of you. And just because there's peace on the outside, there might be war going on in the inside of you. So it might be time for war on the outside, but there might be time for peace on the inside of you. So there's a time for everything. And it could be from the inside or out. Your input determines your output. So what I mean by that is the season. And there's a season inside of you, just as there is a season on the outside of you. So, but what inspired me is people struggling. And it hurts to see people struggling. So I'm just going to put the things out there that can help other people and take them through take them through the steps that I've been through. And I know everybody has a different journey, but if I got through some stuff, I'm going to share it, right? Because it could help somebody else. And when I was in addiction, I didn't care about nobody but myself.
Before you drop the link M3, let me ask him just one question.
No problem. Actually, Mr. Best, I have to go get the door real quick. Can you take over for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, brother. Now, why do you think it's so important for, especially for black men, right? The PCU, I don't know the name, but PCU, and definitely peace and blessings. Peace to Bolo. Bolo, I see you in the chat. Simon, I see you as well. I'm about to drop the link after I ask this question. But my question to you is, why do you think it's so important for, men, especially black men, man, to be vulnerable? You know what I mean? Salute to Auntie Debbie. Good to see you. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna say this: why do you think it's so important for black men, especially black men, to be vulnerable with how they feel and to be vulnerable about the things they're going through? Like, why is that so important? Why is that so essential for them to do that?
It's important for you to be vulnerable because being vulnerability is our superpower, right? It's going to take you. It's going to take you high above the clouds. You got people to save, right? And vulnerability is your superpower. We have to be. I think that we should be more vulnerable as black men is because they normalize like not crying or being vulnerable. And that allows other people, when you're vulnerable, it allows other people to share what's going on in silence instead of them dying in silence, right? Because we die in a comfort zone, and not being vulnerable is our comfort zone because it's hard for most people to be vulnerable. And when we're vulnerable, that we allow ourselves to save our families and the generations after that and the generations to come after that. Because as black men, we've been through a lot, right? And
Yes, sir.
if you allow yourself to be vulnerable, it's setting people free from that prison that's inside of their mind where they feel like they can't share with people or have feelings or even cry. I always say this: it's okay to cry because you don't want to drown inside. We got a lot of black men drowning inside. They're drowning themselves. I see my dad go through depression, and that's the one thing that I said I wasn't going to do. I literally saw him like dying inside. He wouldn't share because he had an addiction of not sharing his vulnerability. Let me say that again. Not sharing your vulnerability is an addiction too. And you drown inside because you're dying in silence all by yourself. They said the opposite of addiction is connection. Let me say that again. They said the opposite of addiction is connection. Say connection. The opposite of addiction is
Connection.
you got to connect with others. You got to allow yourself to be vulnerable and say, you know what? I need help. I need help. I'm not going to allow pride to hold me down. I remember my dad getting up and he was sleeping for like 2-3 days straight. It was on December 2018, and I left the house to go start writing my first book, New Life Poetry. And I came back. He said he was okay. I'm fine. Like, you need me to call the hospital for you? I come back home, open the door. I could feel the air it was just still. I never forget it. It was still. It was like one of those movies when you just walk in the house and it's just super quiet. And I didn't hear a heartbeat. I could walk in the house and I didn't hear anything. It's like I didn't even have to touch his body when I walked in the room to see him in the chair passed away. I didn't even have to touch his chest to know that his heart stopped because I could just feel it in the air. And it was just that day, watching my dad being dragged out of the house in a body bag woke me up. And then I realized that sometimes we die in our vulnerability. We die not being vulnerable. I mean, like, it's crazy, but it's the truth. Like, we die inside. And it was crazy because he had a heart attack, and that's from holding so much stress in. And it's
Mm.
that really got me, and that just changed my life. And after that, I just said I'd never do another drug or drink ever again in my life. And I was going to be more vulnerable, and I was going to share, and I wasn't going to allow my pride to keep me in the prison inside of my mind. And I'm talking to you today because there's someone on here that's going through a lot inside, and they don't want to share because they think that they're going to get made fun of or feel a certain way, or they're not going to be man enough to get through to share with others. I never really see my dad cry because he was drowning inside for real.
And I think that lack of vulnerability is based on the fact that we always feel like we gotta be strong because we gotta survive. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And a lot of times that's true. We do gotta survive, especially if we live in a certain neighborhoods and we live in poverty. We gotta do a lot of things that maybe we don't believe that we want to do or even should do because it's real in the field. So I understand why brothers don't really talk too much because really they feel like they don't have time to talk, and sometimes they really don't have time to talk. But we got to make time to talk, man, and that's the thing. You know what I
that's
mean? Because health is wealth, and if we're not investing in our health, and we're not investing in ourselves, and really being healthy, then all that other stuff means nothing. It literally means nothing. It will literally cease to exist, and you will literally cease to exist. But let me get to these comments real quick. Y'all feel free to pop up. The link is definitely in the chat. I got my brother Piere Ingram here. He definitely here to share, man, and definitely, breathe life into everybody that's here. Now, I mean, Simon says, and this was my brother Simon Hectic. He said, black men are far less likely to access healthcare than a white man or any group of women. That's true. Auntie Debbie says, I just told my son it's okay to cry. Doesn't make him less than a man. That's true. You know what I mean? Brother Simon says over 700,000 older men reported feeling a high degree of loneliness. That's true. And then Six Boston just giving a shout out to Simon. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But yeah, man, y'all feel free to come up. Y'all know the link is pinned in the chat, or it's actually in the chat right now. So definitely click that link, man, and come share, man. You know what I mean? Share your heart, share your thoughts, share your mind. You know what I mean? And don't feel shy, man, to come up here and just, share with us, man, and just let us know where you at. You know what I mean? We all here to, try to help and just, also try to learn something and try to give back. And so growing up in your environment, right, and seeing different things that you've seen, you know what I'm saying? Now that you look at your community now, what will be the legacy that you want to leave as far as like your community and how you want to impact your community, impact the people that's in your community? You know what I'm saying?
by helping them realize that they can heal, and it's okay to heal out loud. It's okay to recover out loud. It's okay to know that you can be vulnerable. It's okay to share with others. It doesn't matter what other people think. The thing that's stopping you is what you think about yourself. And a lot of times we get stuck in our heads and we never come out to create the life that you want, We got to walk into it. We just got to do it. Walk into it and believe. It's so many things that needs to be created through you, right? That you need to create, but we can't create if we're stuck inside of a gate, inside of our minds. It's these little tweaks that get us onto mountain peaks, but it could be the little tweaks that knock you off the top of your mountain if you don't start counting your wins. You got to count your wins too, as well. What is going right in your life? We got to look at it like black people have it hard. That's why it's going to make it even better when we win. Let me say that again. We have it hard, but it's going to make it even better that we win. How many of y'all like to root for the underdogs? Because I do. I like to root for the underdogs. The people that people
Yeah.
count out.
Got my brother Marcus up here. Marcus, what's going on?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I just want to say shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Piere. Shout out to Mr. Best. Shout out to M3. God bless you. And I just want to say I appreciate the stream and I appreciate what you're talking about. I appreciate the positive message. And I just want to say I just appreciate the fact that days like these, especially around the time right now, some people that are very less fortunate, or people that are going through certain things and don't have much belief or faith or hope. Things like this is what really helps some people, just to watch the stream on the replay, just to listen to a few words, get them through the day. And I've always been a believer in him and in the Most High and God. And he got me through some things in my past life. He's saved people that I knew that I care about, and other people that I did lose along the way. And I do believe that you get what you give in this world as well. I believe in whatever goes around comes around. That's why there's a saying: you see no evil, speak no evil, you hear no evil. You see no evil type stuff. So I have my most faith in him. He got me through some hard times through my childhood. He got me through some stuff, whether I was in sports or the military, even after. And even save people that I knew that I cared so much about that I thought they were long gone. Sometimes there were some times where I felt like I was losing my faith and hope, and it wasn't so much that I lost my faith in him. I lost my faith in humanity. Some points of what I saw, what I went through, and when I grew up. But I have to make sure that you put your faith and foundation and trust in him, and he'll give you the strength to get through it. You carry on. You'll get through some trials and tribulations, and perseverance. Because no one owes you anything in this world. The world don't owe you nothing. The world is a cruel place. It'll shove you down. It'll keep you down. It'll try to destroy you. Life will try to destroy you. People will come through you, and you'll have to find out who really is there for you. But the one person that'll never leave you, that'll always be there with you, is him. God himself. And people need to understand that. And I hope they listen to this, and I hope they don't feel like they're alone these holidays coming up right now. A lot of parts of this world, what's going on right now in other countries. And they're suffering right now. A lot of people are suffering around the world. And a lot of people take it for granted for what they have right now at home. And just be grateful you have somebody, you have things, you have a roof over your head, you have clothes on your back, you have food on the table, you have somewhere to stay, you have a job, you have 4 wheels, you have people that probably actually do care about you. Don't take them for granted either. Reach out to someone that is alone as well. Help them out, help her out, whatever you can do. If you want to do something nice, go for it without ever expecting something back in return. Try that every now and then. Trust me, that's part of being human. It shows you actually have something in you called a soul. And that's just what I wanted to say real quick. I just wanted to appreciate the positive words and the positive message.
Hey, appreciate you, Junior, man. Thank you for coming up, Marcus.
Absolutely.
Good thing, Marcus. Much love, bro. You know what it is.
Yeah. Real quick. Brother Piere, right? So I have a family member, Mama Debbie is what we're gonna call her, but she says she have a question on how to help her son, and if you could please maybe help her with her question. She says, how can she help her son grieve from his dad passing 5 years ago, and he feels so lost in his life.
Just I could say is just listen to him and just be there for him. Just listen to him. Ask him if there's anything that he wants to.
Oh shoot. Okay, welcome back. Oh, Piere, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I lost connection for a second.
Just to sit down with him one-on-one, grab his hand, ask him if there's anything that he wants to talk about, and Ask him if there's anything that he wants to talk about when he's ready. And just keep asking him that. Ask him that once a week until he's ready to talk about it. Try to do stuff with him outside of the house. Stuff that he's never done before. That excites him. Ask him what his passions and gifts are and dig more into those. And get him out of himself. Because a lot of times we get stuck in our head. And I know what it feels like to grieve about the father because I was doing the same thing. And one day I woke up and gave all his clothes away to the Salvation Army. And it's hard to come out of your head with somebody. And my father was close to me. So I know that he's probably missing his father. So just allow him to grieve. Because there's a grieving period, right? Like I said earlier, there's a time for everything. How long? 5 years ago, right? So to still give him some time to grieve and try to get him out of himself. Ask him what his gifts are and look for little things that you notice that he like and do them out of nowhere for him. That's what I got for that one.
Hey, honestly, I feel like that was well said. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And for giving that type of advice. You know, this is what was also interesting because in the
M3, hold on 1 second.
Hmm?
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Salute to
go
the
ahead.
homie Daryl Long, man. Thank you for sharing this, man. Thank you for spreading the love, bro. We appreciate that. Much love.
Thank you, Daryl Long. Hey, appreciate you, bro. But yeah, man. What she said, like, was that she was talking to her oldest son, and she told him, like, don't worry about how people judge you or talk about you. As long as you put God first or reach for your life out there. Actually, hold on. It was something else, but she was saying that, like, it's okay for a man to be vulnerable and let himself down. Probably to the right people. But I think, like, when it comes to, and I want to kind of address this because I hear this like a lot. Okay, that a lot of men are afraid to be vulnerable, and this goes in both sides because sometimes they feel like they can't feel vulnerable, whether it be for both men or their other peers, because society's already programmed us to be tough, to be stoic, to be, emotionless. Like, we're not supposed to feel anything, like we're a bunch of robots. And it's crazy because, like,
Should tell it to Cain and Abel.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think because we get so guarded, we only just turn to these few things that we feel like that's the only thing that's going to be acceptable. And I feel like a lot of men are dying off because of depression, self-deletion. Not all because they're not feeling heard. Now, I'm not going to negate. There's women that's out there too. Where it be situations of not being heard through certain traumas that they went through, and then just being looked at a bunch of, like, objects. The world is hurting so bad, and I just want to say, basically, to keep it short, we definitely need more men like you to uplift other people's spirits, but we also need to do our part to uplift your spirit whenever you need us.
That's how it goes. We gotta, it goes back and forth. It goes both ways. Two-way street.
Yeah, definitely. No problem, Mama, Dad. I got you. Simon says the body and mental part of grieving can be suffocating. Finding access to means of oxygen may allow us to breathe for moments until we gain our full capacity again.
It's in, that's that what he says, and really significant. It's important. Oxygen, just to breathe, man. Your life is in the breath.
I like that. And I meant to say, sorry, I said capacity. I meant to say capability. I read it wrong, but salute to Simon. Thank you for just by sharing that. And actually, that's pretty wise too. I like that. Salute to everybody that's in the chat. I'm glad that everybody is engaged into this type of topic because here's the thing. How bad do you really want healing? Because we have some people that say they want to heal, but we get trapped up into our pain to the point that our pain continues to consume us. How often are we using certain tools to get us the help that is needed? Or maybe, do you even know what tools? And this is just rhetorical, right? You guys don't have to answer this in the chat. But I just want you guys to think about this. Do you even know what tools that you have to help start the healing process?
I'm going to tell you one of the tools is going through the pain and not numbing it. I was like, when God was like, here, I got a tool for you. I'm like, this tool, I don't want that tool. Other tools that I wanted. But then I realized one of the tools was just sitting there and processing it and taking a pen and a piece of paper and writing down some of the things that was going on in my head and facing those things, taking the mask off. So I could see what those things were, and just sitting in it. Sometimes you just got to sit in it and just see what's going on inside of you instead of going for things on the outside of you, and sitting in the pain sometimes. Not like beating yourself up, but sometimes you just got to sit in the pain and be aware of where this pain coming from and how can I use this? How can I use this for my good? And asking yourself the right questions.
Good point.
Asking yourself the right questions, like, where's this pain coming from? And usually it's from your childhood, right? And just looking it in the eyes and just realizing yourself that God wants you to look at it for you can forgive yourself because it's not your fault, right? Now the healing part is now you can take responsibility for your healing, and that's when the work comes
in. Let me ask you this question because
can I add? Is it okay if I add on a little something at 3 before?
Yeah. Go ahead, Marcus. I could wait for mine.
That's the important thing about pain. Pain means you're feeling that pain. It means you're alive, right? It means you're human, so you're gonna go through that. And I think a lot of times you find out what people are made of, and people are actually stronger than they think because the mind is so strong, the soul is so strong. Think about it, right? That's why for his only son died on the cross for us, and he gave his life for us. And if you're in pain, push through that pain, get a reward from it. That's the best way to succeed in life too. You find out, what you're really made of in that moment. You're either going to crumble or you're going to become something. And I think people need to look at hopefully they can try to start looking at that. And I see a lot of times, like when the going gets tough, people want to throw in the towel. They want to find an escape route, just parachute or a ladder, and somehow find like a safety net where they don't have to really look at themselves, self-reflect, or maybe even go through something called, hey, then the going gets tough. And sometimes don't take certain things so heavy, don't take it so hard because like I said, we're all going to experience something like that in some level at some point in our life, whether it's young, middle aged, old, whatever it is. It can be life throws you curveballs, you know. And I think people need to like really, really see that, because I see certain things, especially in first world countries compared to third world countries. It's just different, man. It's just really different. So it's just, you know, just think about it, keep going. And if you gotta attach yourself to people that are more positive, try to attach yourself to people that are more positive too. You know, that too. That helps a lot, because if you're gonna hang out with people with a defeated mindset, then that's what you're gonna be lingering around. That it's an absorbent, like it's like a sponge. So you got to be aware of that too.
Come
You
on,
know,
Mark.
stuff like that. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not trying to look down on anybody or think I'm high above anybody else. That's just something that I think I realize for myself. When I'm around people like that, my attitude is more spearheaded to go forward, to rise to the top in a positive light too. That's it though. That's it.
Thanks, Marcus. That was some gems right there. Yeah.
I appreciate you. Appreciate everything you've been saying too.
I'm
Yeah,
serious.
good stuff, Marcus.
When I was going through all my pain and stuff like that, man, I found out that was uh, a good tool, was surrounding myself around people that had stronger mindsets than I did, and I would put myself around that environment, and eventually it caught on to my mind, and then I started to put myself around people that was um, elevating their mindsets. Not saying that the people that's not there yet, there's something bad about it, but I'm just saying, like, that's the key too, is to surround yourself with people that's upbeat, that's going to get you to move around and get you out of that. Because the opposite of addiction is connection.
I like that. I like that. Opposite of addiction is connection.
The enemy want to isolate you inside of your mind, so you can focus on all the
Yup.
things that's not going right. Because you get what you focus on, right? Self doubt and uh, self doubt and fear are on the both sides of the same coin. Like even what is it? Faith. No, it's faith and fear is on the same coin, and you get what you focus on. You get what you focus on, whatever side of the coin you want to focus on. Remember, it's all connected, but you get what you focus on. Like, you know how they say, you if you do the hard things now, you'll live an easy life later. If you do the easy things now, you're gonna live a hard life later. But they're both still connected. You get to choose how you want it though. Am I going to get through the hard stuff now? But my life could be a little bit easier later, or am I going to do the easy stuff now? See, the hard stuff now is the healing process, right? Not going for those instant gratification like pornography. Like one thing I used to be I'll still mess up sometimes. I still go back. Oh my god, I see something scrolling through social media because some things trigger you. Like this another thing that men don't talk about is pornography, right? Looking at things that you know you shouldn't be looking at because you're trying to hide from your childhood trauma and you're trying to go out of yourself instead of go inward. Why am I feeling like that? Why do I have to be go for instant gratification? It's because I'm going through some type of pain that I'm not willing to deal with right now and look at, so I can use it for good. And he's always trying to get your mind off of the solution so you can focus on the problem.
Man, hey man, these are some beautiful gems, man, that everybody's sharing tonight. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I wasn't really, I wasn't really expecting this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I was probably expecting, like, some spoken word or whatever. But what I'm hearing is some spoken truth that we need to hear at this moment. I know we talk about, like, the regular stuff, the casual, the relationships or whatever, whatever men, women, whatever the case is. But tonight, this is, I think this is a great tool for us to really learn from, because in order for us to be a better person, a better friend, a better co-worker, in order for us to be great, we got to deal with what's in front of us. We have a lot of stumbling blocks, and getting through those stumbling blocks is gonna build not only character, but it's gonna make us to be a new us. It's gonna shape and mold us, basically. And in my opinion, people who take the easy route first, enjoy your gratification, but when the hard truth comes out, a lot of people are not going to be able to handle it. And
It's called
so
the path with the least resistance.
the path with the least resistance, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm. But overall, man, like, we gotta just deal with the demons that's inside of us. So
You gotta reveal them. They be trying to hide in those secret corners that we trying to keep. Oh, I'm gonna keep this stash over here. I got rid of everything else. I got my secret stash of snacks that I like to go for. God see those snacks too.
right, right.
Yeah, that's why I said what I said earlier to correlate with M3's point, because I remember him saying like people will always pick the easier route. So that's why I say the path with least resistance, because it's funny you guys are talking about this conversation, because I didn't even I saw a thumbnail before. I just didn't know what the topic was going to be, and then when you guys start talking about this, it's weird. It's like somehow when you guys are having this message, other issues, even myself, whatever in the past, or sometimes even currently, some of these people are going through some things right now. So, I'll share this and I'll show this to them as well. And if they, take time, sit down, whether it's on a lunch break or at home, or they're thinking about it, whatever, they feel, alone in the world and they feel lost. Because that's the thing too, is some people feel lost when they don't have a purpose. They're not at that end line, that goal line to finish, and I think that's also a thing too, where people feel incomplete. And I think that's part of the issue too. And I think sometimes they say, well, you know what? If I get with the right person, they'll complete me. And I get to a certain point, but at the same time, you need to understand that heal yourself first. Find that faith and that belief first in a positive light. Because hurt people will hurt people. And the ones that aren't hurt will do their best to not hurt somebody else, let alone themselves as well. And it's a domino effect. It's a chain reaction. And people need to understand that too. Like, what you can be doing can affect not just yourself and the other person, but who knows anybody else around them eventually. So you got to take that responsibility and that ownership as well. If you want to have true integrity.
That was valuable.
I got a question. Oh, go ahead, brother P. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that was very valuable. Like, Marcus, everybody needed to hear that, especially me. Everyone. I really appreciate you like dropping this value, man, because it's very needed. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that because I know, kid, I haven't physically been with my father in the same room as far as like I haven't seen him in 6 years. But then somebody else that I heard that when I was talking to them, they said they never met their biological father ever. And when they found out about their father existing, the biological father had passed away 6 months prior, and he was trying to get to know his father. So there are things like that. That's why I always say somebody else always has it worse than you. Somebody always will never know the feeling. Somebody will always miss that gap, that in between, that connection, that, like I said, it's just, that's the only way I can honestly put it without going in circles. Like, just look at it that hindsight 2020 glass half full. Try to look at the full 360, not just the 180.
That's true, man. You muted, brother Pierre.
I said, man, I really appreciate it. There's always somebody 10 steps behind you, and there's someone always 10 steps ahead of you. There's someone
Facts.
Yep, absolutely. That's why if you ever been through something and you got through it, please like really document this stuff. Take it down, what helped you get through this, because there's somebody 10 steps behind you that needs you to share the information because they're going through it right now. And just your information could stop them from committing suicide, could stop them from like really hurting themselves. And you just being there, listening to them and sharing some things that helped you through it could probably help them through it. So that's so important.
Absolutely. I agree 1,000%.
Brother P, I got a question for you, man. What do you like to do in your leisure time? Like, are you a sports watcher? Do you game? You know what I'm saying? Do you read a lot of books? Like, what do you do in your leisure?
Tell you the truth, I used to watch a lot of sports and stuff like that, but I stopped doing that like 5 years ago. I stopped doing a lot of stuff that I used to do because I realized they were distracting me from my purpose. And I realized once I realized my purpose, I know what the distractions look like now. Because at first I didn't know what they look like. But now I read books that's connected to my purpose and connected to the peoples that's struggling where I struggled at, the younger me. And I focus on learning those type of things, if that makes sense. Focus on learning those things that's connected to my purpose for others to show them how to get out of what they're going through. So I'm really hyper intentional about the things that I read, and I try to be hyper intentional about the things that I watch on social media, and I try to connect everything up to the purpose because I want everything to stay connected to the purpose, because I realized 5 years ago that I was very distracted, and sometimes I still get distracted, but it's a process, and you got to trust the process of growth. That it's not going to feel good, but it is good, right? It's just like going to the gym. It don't feel good, but in the end, it's good for you, right? And sometimes the things that look good ain't good. Things that taste good ain't good because they're not good for you. But the things that's painful and the things that don't taste good are good for you, though.
Facts. Do you a tiny question into that? Do you not a control? Do you kind of are there certain places that you would like even like to travel as well?
Oh,
I like the message.
I like to travel. I've been to Atlanta. I'm trying to travel to more addiction and recovery centers. Um, and back to my hobby is I write poetry, but I turn my poetry into a business, right? I turn my poetry into a business because um, I'm basically a creative strategist that use a message to hit the masses. Because it's a way that I could say a message that's going to really touch your heart and change you for real. And I never realized that that's my gift, right? Of sharing a message that's going to change you. Especially this one right here, addiction condition. An addict built from trauma, a curse that carried on. But a demon gave you a band-aid, but the Lord carried you along down the path to greatness made you. This addiction conditioning ain't you. Now the angels that fail that hate you. That's why they bring your past up daily. Maybe they see where the Lord's taking you and it's not where they are going. So they feed you with lies about your life, addicted to the world's advice. A vice that has you tangled, what God has mangled up twice. But you fell and got back up, and God calls that righteous. Just don't ever give up. I know being shameful is painful. I'm over here and I can feel it. But there's nothing stronger than God's love and the Holy Spirit. Addiction condition.
Wow, man, that's phenomenal, bro.
Bars.
That's phenomenal. We got our brother Simon up here. Simon, what's good, man?
Simon, we can't hear you.
Look at God working in mysterious ways right now. Amen.
Always.
Hopefully,
He don't.
hopefully get his audio fixed up. Simon, we can't hear you. If we can't hear you, especially we can't see you at the moment, probably come back and then rejoin again if you can hear us.
Can you type something in the private chat or something?
Yeah. Okay, Simon, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you in the back because we can't hear you, but in the private, hold on, let me see. Yeah, he said, we know you're here, but we can't hear you. So fix your audio, okay? All right. He'll be back. Anyways, man, got a couple more minutes, man. Anybody else want to share about anything or any other questions? Or just any other comments?
I had a question for Pierre, if I may. Did you always from a young age, did you always find like a strong belief in God, or at least felt like he existed in your life? And if so, what led to you either still keeping that faith or finding that faith in him?
My parents never really went to a church or nothing, but I always knew that there was a God, right? It's something that happened inside of me. I think it was happened, and I started to become aware through the worst time of my life when that happened to me when I was a kid and stuff. I'm being abused. That's what really helped me become more aware of God and that there was a God. And it always happens in your worst time of your life. It's actually the best time of your life when you realize that the blessings is in disguise.
Right. Facts.
And it's just so amazing, man. God's just so amazing. And he's so loving, bro. Like you could be in the worst time of your life, man, but it's actually the best time of your life if you dig deep inside of what's really going on. And it's the opposite of what it looks like.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. You know, people forget too, like, you know, if you read the chapters in the good book, what some of them went through. Some of them, you know, whether you believe it or not, you know, people turning into pillars of salt, brothers going through it, you know, Cain and Abel, like I mentioned earlier, you know, with the book of Mark, the book of Matthew, you know, Corinthians, um, you know, so on and so forth. You know, it's just a lot of stuff that happened, a lot of things that were, you know, even in portrayals of certain adaptations of his son, of his name. You know, it's just, you know, people just need to make sure that you. There's a saying that I learned a while back, years ago, from a very well-known person in a certain part of the country that south of the border. He said, "The book of life was not written by a wise man. It was written by a fool who made many mistakes."
Okay.
And, you know,
scriptures, all right.
that was something that another human being said before, and that kind of stuck with me because, you know, what's that saying? A smart man learns from his mistakes, a wise man learns from others. But that book that originally was being written through your life, that's your book. Every individual person has a book, their journey. Each chapter you're going through something, whether it's someone you cross paths with, whether it's some choice you made, whether it's a reaction you had that led to something else, the micro with the macro. Shout out to B9 because he says that too. You know, it just things like that. You know, just taking it in. Your book's not over until it's your time to go. But in the
Woo!
meantime, you're in control. You're in control of what you write, what you're going to put forward. You know, every day.
Sorry, I was just checking my mic levels. Salute to the panel. To
What's up,
Mark,
son?
what's up? What's up? What's up? Pierre M3, Mr. Best.
What's up, baby?
Yeah, I mean, to Marcus's point, there's another book that states a wise man is someone who makes many mistakes. But the question I wanted to ask Pierre was, and if you don't mind sharing, what is it? What is your experience like going through a facility for addiction?
I never went to a facility for addiction. I did,
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just got that impression because you're
no,
speaking on it.
no, bro. I never even went to a facility for addiction. You know what happened to me? Um, when my father and my mom passed 6 months apart, when I decided um to stop running from my past and just start healing, and just to embrace the pain for a while, because it's only for a moment, because everything's temporary. So I was just reading. I was just reading, exercising, and the first thing I did was spend a lot of time with God, and He showed me what the pain was for. I spent a lot of time with Him, crying out to Him, alone in my room. I would cry and just cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. I'm serious. This is just real talk, though. I'm just being real. I would sit and cry a lot, and then I would read books, and I just got into entrepreneurship, surrounding myself with people that had different mindsets. And I realized that a lot of this addiction came from me um, allowing myself to suffer instead of realizing that I'm a king and everyone in here is king, and that we don't have to suffer, that we can be the best version of ourselves today, right? Because that's all we have is today. And I realized that I could start learning things I've never learned before, and I can grow to a place I've never grew before, and I could just embrace, read, and learn and share, and just serve other people. That's it. And that's what got
So,
me. But I was like,
so how would you, just in your experience, because I know a lot of people have been through some stuff. I've been through some stuff myself.
no doubt.
Um, what is that time period? What does that time period look like when you've gone through something and then you get to a point where you start to make contact with, people that may be able to help you? Because most men would, when they've gone through something traumatic, will isolate themselves, as you said,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
be by themselves and be in a dark room and don't want to contact nobody, speak to anybody, and
And I wouldn't do that. That's like the wrongest thing you can do is isolate yourself. That's why I know, like, man, that's not the right way to go. The opposite of addiction is connection. And if you can connect with people, that's going to help you grow. And it's going to be uncomfortable because they're going to challenge you, right? And it's okay to be challenged. And I would say just to go out there and go get help. Go to people that have been through what you've been through or been through what you're going through, and help you to find these different facilities that can help you and people that can help, because there's help everywhere. Like, really, just allow yourself to be vulnerable and open, because you got to be vulnerable and open for people to know what's going on. They can't read your mind and know what's going on inside of you.
Let me read this real quick. I think this is the comment that Debbie was saying wasn't highlighted, but she says some people even know even know where no some people even know where to begin. Oh, don't even know where to begin to heal. Some people feel too scared to admit they need healing and don't want to face it. and some don't want to feel like they're being slaves.
Mm.
That's
That's
a
called
good.
depression. Because when people go through depression, you don't actually know you're in depression until you come out of it. And that could take years.
Yeah, it take years. You don't even know that you were in it. But the way to come out of it is serving other people.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah, it's serving other people. I never knew that either. I'm like, oh, if I go through depression, I'm about to go out there and find somebody that going through it worse than I am and go and help them because you got something that can help them because they're worse than you are.
Trauma bonded, basically.
Yeah, they
And
go.
this is the danger about this too, because you bond with somebody that's going through the same trauma, and you find someone that's even probably at its lowest thing what you're going through. But then the moment you begin to heal individually, you as a person, that's when that connection between you and that trauma buddy is going to get rocky. Because if that trauma buddy has not fully healed with his or her own pain, they're going to try to constantly remind you.
I find that a lot. To be
So
fair with you,
darky.
I find that a lot, man. I got a lot of homies that ain't never got over anything, but I still love them. Do you know what I mean? I mean, even like you can hear that shit on my channel. Like I got homies that come up, and as much as I want to say to them or talk to them or whatever, I can't fix them. Do you get what I mean? You can only fix yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. The thing is, man, we're responsible for ourselves. We can't be responsible for other people. But if we want to help inspire other people, we have to pretty much find inspiration our own selves. We gotta break those barriers first. Think about it like this. I want everybody, right, to really, even if you have to close your eyes on this one, think about yourself as a rechargeable battery. Okay? Think about it. I want you to really, I seriously want you to really meditate on that. You are a rechargeable battery. Once you start to really get the analogy of what a battery's purpose is, you'll start to understand a deeper purpose. As a rechargeable battery, the purpose for that battery is to charge other devices. Okay? Computers, tablets, whatever you could think of. But what happens to the rechargeable battery when it gets to its low? It becomes weak, right?
Yeah, because no one's plugging in.
Right. But the effects when a rechargeable battery gets weak and you try and plug your device into it, you're not going to get the full power from it. And then when it dies, guess what? You have no power, no will to charge, to supply power for other people. So what do you have to do? Now you have to go back to think of self. You have to go and you have to recharge yourself, because now you are the power outlet. You are the rechargeable battery. You are the tool that helps keep others running. So they rely on you. But you can't keep giving all the time. It's not infinite. You have to go back and recharge yourself. I'm gonna read some of these comments and now I'm gonna digress.
That was a gem, man. That really hit.
Thank
That's
you,
why
man. I appreciate it.
that's why when I was in my depression and stuff like that, I realized when I start to dive into the word and started to chill with God, he was that rechargeable battery. He would charge me back up. I was like, woo, when I had nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's that rechargeable battery, bro. Like we got to go back to the source. Like we got to go to the source that's recharging you. That's why we get so stressed out, man, because we're trying to recharge from other
Right.
batteries instead of the rechargeable battery.
Yeah, that's facts, man. That's facts. You know why?
Right.
Because I can't have negative people around me. And if you see on a battery, right? If you pick up a little battery, there's got the plus side and the minus side. There's a reason for that. Because
Positive and the negative.
right,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So that's how the world works. You got the North Pole, you got the South Pole. You got the positive, you got the negative, and
Mm-hmm.
everything in between. You go to one ocean, you go to, you know, one place in the world. Yeah, yo, I don't even want to go into this, but I'm just saying, man. Go to Australia, it flushes down one way. Go to New York, it flushes down another. It's just we need to understand the basics around us, and I think maybe sometimes we lose track of this, and it's very easy for us to do this given the fact of everything that's around us and the convenience of everything. But when you're put into deep waters and then something real happens to you, I guess that's the only time we get on our knees and start to pray to God.
Yeah, that's why I made that comment earlier in the chat when I first was getting here. I said, from my experiences, even when the times were either tough or they were great, I was still grateful and I still prayed and I still believed. Like people just can't don't take it for granted. Like I said earlier in the stream, don't take it for granted. Just don't just praise them when you're going through something tough. Praise them when you're going through something good too, because you're gonna cherish those good times as well. So don't forget that. Just like I don't say, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget that struggle. So keep pushing.
Yeah. Don't forget the struggle and never forget about the blessings as well, too. And that's what surprisingly what keeps me more motivated is understanding the blessings. And this is what my dad told me, count your blessings, man. It's more powerful than like being reminded of him when you're going through the struggles. Now, I want to make a disclaimer, okay? I get that maybe not everyone is, into certain biblical principles. They may not be into God. They may not even believe in him. And I get that. I just want to put it out there that look, if it's not him, maybe you guys have another outlet that you guys turn to that gives you the strength. Do whatever it is that works for you. But just make sure as a person of yourself, your caliber, find the best healing outlet as much as possible. And always remember, you are that rechargeable battery, like I said earlier. I'm gonna read some of these comments real quick because RT says servitude heals. She says being a server at a restaurant forced her to smile during the dark times. But making people smile also made her genuinely happy as well, too. And I just want to make sure I highlight that part because Sometimes, man, like again, the rechargeable battery effect. You may be going through a deep, rough patch at your moment, but because you had a little bit of charge to give to someone else and they benefit from it, now it's coming back to you. And if you think about it, when our devices are plugged in, when they're charged up, of course, most of it is for the purpose of entertaining us. And at that temporary moment, we're getting some type of satisfaction from it. That's the way I want you guys to look at it when you recharge yourself and you're giving your heart into other people. David says, yes, putting God first in your life. Let God direct your path in life. And also going to the beach is a great way to relax and recharge.
You know, I think the interesting part as well in what you're saying is the faith part. I I don't know if many people have faith in the fact that they're able to recharge because you know, like when you're in that moment, you're at your lowest. So the way your brain thinks is like maybe I ain't gonna get through this, and you might not have that person around you to offer you like comfort or you know confidence in the next part of your life or the next couple of minutes in your life, even or the next you know what's going to come after in the day after. So that's when it can drop, and that's when we can make mistakes because we could trip because we'll make a decision and that may be the biggest mistake of our life.
Wise words, Simon. Wise words.
Thank you, Simon. That was that was good, man. Good.
I'm going to say this, right? And this is more of like a confession. So,
We're doing confessions now.
these are my confessions.
Oh God,
But look,
no pun intended.
right. You know, it's very hard, man, as a content creator to keep doing this, especially when you're trying to drive a positive movement, like making common sense great again. You know, building bridges for relationships. Talk about something that no one else hasn't really discussed about before. And I know we get the stigma on these streaming platforms, especially when it comes to Black YouTube, where entertainment lies on doxing people, talking trash about other people, tearing down opposite genders, destroying our own communities. And that's where the viewership gets in. You know, it comes into play. And I know there's something better. But if you fall into that category previously, that all you need to do is be a dancing monkey and destroy your own community, and your people are supporting you for doing that, as opposed to doing things that's constructive, it actually hurts my soul a little bit. And it makes me want to do things for clicks and views. Look, I go through these temptations, probably just like most content creators go through these temptations when viewership is not up to par, especially as it used to be. But there's people like you, Piere, that helps remind us, people like us, why we keep going, why we keep pursuing to try to do something great for the people who are watching us. And I want to thank you for that reminder. Seriously, I do. And you know, you have definitely became a blessing for our platform, and we thank you for that wholeheartedly.
I don't want to interrupt anyone, but I'll tell you. I know I've got a bit of experience about being a dancing monkey. And I have a lot of friends who have also. So I ain't gonna front, man. They draw you into that shit. But the fact of the matter is it takes certain brothers to actually come up and actually talk some sense to you and make you acknowledge what the hell's going on in the world. Um, if you're a worldly person, even acknowledge to the level of your community and actually take the time to actually pour some love and peace and understanding into you. That means a lot. That means a lot. And it goes so far because it spreads. You get what I'm saying? Because that I'm gonna pass that on to my family and whoever I spawn as children. And it matters, So, I really appreciate M3 Piere. It's the best in the world. I understand you gotta get out here. I'm gonna continue to bounce with you guys, as long as you have me, okay? Um, but this has been a fascinating conversation. And every time I see someone new come up who has so much knowledge to spit about something, I can't but detract from my sleep to just listen. Guys, I can't even just play back on the replay. I got to listen from the outset just to see. So, salute. I appreciate you folks for having me. And you have a good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Have a good weekend. Actually, we're coming to the Friday days. So take care.
Thank you, Simon. I appreciate you for your kind words, man. Um, I know things not the same like as it used to be because, man, back then in the beginning of these live streams, we'll be up, man, from sun up to sundown. I remember we was having talks about trying to do a 24-hour live stream, man. Shoot, now these days, man, I can't even sit for too long. But also, I want to respect your time as well, Pierre, and
Yeah.
we're gonna close out like in a few minutes. But um, if anything, man, I just want to say thank you again. And if you want to plug in anything else, like maybe your social media,
Yeah.
and then please promote your book again for the audience that just came into.
From
Um,
to attraction, from
mhm.
to attraction, a road to recovery.
So check that book out. From Addiction to Attraction: A Road to Recovery by Piere Ingram.
Yeah.
You will find it on Amazon. So definitely check it out. And I
Yeah.
got to start my Amazon account too. See what's going on because I was trying to get the book. But definitely support the brother and also support yourselves by reading the book.
Life.
Definitely. Mr. Best, you have any final words you want to say?
Nah, man, thank you, bro, for coming through, man. I really appreciate you, man. And brother Pierre, you know I'm gonna reach out, man. Much
No
love to
doubt.
you and yours, man. Thank you for shining your love and light to us, man. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys, man. All right, I'm out of here. Some stuff to do.
All right.
But this was good, man. God bless y'all, and let's just keep making a difference. Let's go.
Definitely. And brother Pierre, you're always welcome to come to Knowledge and Relationships anytime, man, when we go live.
No doubt.
All right. Peace out. Thank you,
Peace, bro.
everyone.
Much love. God bless.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Best Man. And yeah, man, I guess we're gonna be out, everybody. So let me go ahead and close everything out real quick. And you know, oh, excuse me. Go ahead, Mr. Best. You was gonna say something?
No, we are out, man. Check out the stuff we got going on this weekend. We got a lot of content coming up this weekend on both channels. Check us out, man. We got some dope stuff for y'all.
Oh, yeah, definitely for sure, man. If anything, everybody, thank you again for tuning to Knowledge and Relationships Live Talk. Um, hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. Mama Debbie says, thank you, son and nephew and Pierre. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully everything that was advised was definitely helpful for you. And hopefully it'll be helpful, for our nephew as well, too. So thank you again. everybody for tuning in and giving your support. Shout out to Six Boss, Simon Hectic, Marcus the Junior. You know what I mean, Junior Soldier. Shout out to K Marion. Lady RT. Thank you everybody for tuning in and giving your support. Shout out to Dramo and everyone else as well too. E-Man Williams. Again, we will be back live. Well, actually, this is Thanksgiving week, so we're gonna probably enjoy our Thanksgiving break. But after that, we're gonna be back again, man. So, and yes, Mom and Dad, we definitely love you too. So, everybody, take care. God bless. And let me go ahead. I'm gonna find the outro, and we are out. Make sure everybody get your minds right. Peace.
Knowledge and relationships.